Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Kiki and Kibbith. It's me, Mary, and I am here. Yes, I know, on a Tuesday night covering Love After Lockup. I usually do my Saturday night shenanigans, but I was away in Nashville this past weekend. First of all, I want to welcome Bianca from this season of Love After Lockup. Hey, girl,
Thank
thank you for
you.
joining me. And have you ever been to Nashville?
Me? No.
Oh, you should get there one day. That should be on your bucket list. It's a real fun city. It's kind of like they're calling it Nash Vegas now. So it's
I've
kind of
heard
like
that. I've
yeah,
definitely heard
the
that.
East Coast version of Vegas. It's a lot of fun, and there's things to see too. It's not all just drinking and eating and all that stuff. But it's a really one thing, it's a real hilly city. So you find yourself constantly walking up these streets and walking up the hills, and you're like, oh my goodness, because I'm not used to that at all. New York
Me
is
either. Living in
flat.
Florida? No.
Yeah, except for some neighborhoods in the Bronx, maybe they'll be kind of hilly, but New York City is basically flat. So I'm not used to
Yep.
that shit at all. So before we jump into everything, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm excited for Friday's episode.
Yes, yes.
Hopefully he finally gets out, you
Friday
know?
is the season finale, and they dragged it all the way to the last
Of course.
episode. But you guys are coming back for next season of Life After.
We
So,
are.
we get to continue your love story because you guys were a late starter. They didn't drop you in until like episode 4, right?
It was super late. I was like, what's going on? But
Right. He's like, well, what is going on? So I'm glad to have you here, and we'll just start recapping Friday night's episode. And like I say, we're gonna leave the best for last. So
great.
okay, first of all, Zaria and Troy. We pick up where we left off from last week. She is flipping out. She is throwing production out of her house. First, I want to ask you, Bianca, have you ever felt yourself getting to that point during the
100%.
process?
100 fucking percent. Like, they're probably in life after. I don't know how they're going to play it, but there have definitely been parts where I'm just pissed off. Just the whole thing. And they can put it however they want to put it. You know what I mean? But
Right.
yeah, no, I've been
Yeah.
pissed.
So you
I've
can
had
relate to
blow
her,
ups.
uh, with this. She wanted production the fuck out of her house.
I don't
And
blame her. I do not blame her.
right. And I actually had her and Troy on last week, and she was talking about her being bipolar, and she was basically having, you know, um a moment, a
Yep.
bipolar moment. Let's put it that way. And she was blacking out and shutting down, and I'm sure production doesn't help during moments
Definitely.
like that. So you could
Doesn't.
totally
It
relate to
doesn't.
her.
When you're in that headspace and you're just fucking over it, you're like, get the fuck out of my house. I'm gonna do whatever to get you out of my house. You know what I mean?
Right, right. And have you found them to stir the pot, sort of say, with you and Daniel, and trying to get you guys to argue sometimes, maybe?
The production trying
Yes,
to get us to argue.
yes,
Okay, so I feel like everyone's experience is completely different, but anything that you see of me and Daniel, we're going at it. You know what I mean?
right,
But I feel like everyone's experience is completely different, and that's how it's
right.
gonna be.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So Zaria is, still going off on Troy, and Troy's trying to get her to calm down. At this point, she's taking her ring off, she's taking her necklace off, she's throwing shit at him. I was really worried she was going to scrub her skin off. She was scrubbing her makeup off so hard.
I
Like,
saw that.
girl, you're going to scrub off the first layer of your skin. Calm down. She was fucking pissed. And at one point, she wanted to leave the room. He's like blocking her like a fucking linebacker. You're not going
Mm-hmm.
anywhere. He's trying to reason with her. She's flipping the fuck out because he left. He was gone for hours. Everybody was worried. There's drama. There's drama with the baby mama, and she can't fucking take it.
Yeah, one thing I will say is I noticed they had it a lot harder than probably anyone else on this season. From what I know and
Right.
what I experienced by doing the show,
Right.
she had it rough. And there's some scenes where people are going to have blowouts, they're going to fight, they're going to scream, they're going to yell. And I feel like there's more context than what they're letting on. So,
Of course, because they have time limitations, and
of
of
course,
course, I find that they have a narrative that they want to mold, the
100%.
clips, and you know what I mean, like
Yep.
they have their own narrative. Okay, this is in my opinion. Okay, so they finally all get in the car and they're heading up to Buffalo so Troy could see his daughter. And the last time he saw his daughter, she was 7 months old, and now she is 7 years old.
That
So
must be
he's
crazy.
I know, right?
Really.
I know. So he's like all nervous and excited. Zaria is just annoyed. Annoyed and agitated is written all over her face.
Mm-hmm.
So they get to Karen's house, which, if you guys haven't checked out my interview with Karen, you guys have to. She's fucking hysterical. I love
I
Miss
love her.
Karen.
I can't.
Miss Karen, we love you over here. Okay, she to me is the MVP of the season. Every scene
100%.
she makes, every scene she's in. Uh, so they get to her house, and we have Troy's family in the backyard, his sister, his cousins. They're also happy to see him. His sister's kind of concerned that
Mm-hmm.
with Troy being down in Syracuse, far from his family, he doesn't have that, support. What do you think about that? The sister's feelings.
I mean, I feel like she's valid. You know what I mean? She doesn't know how he's been. I feel like I
Right.
can relate kind of in that sense, but we'll talk about that later.
Right,
So,
exactly. Right. So yeah. So the sister's kind of concerned. The Rhea is just nervous, annoyed, agitated. I mean, every adjective you could think of. And they're just waiting for Troy's daughter to get there and baby mama.
the
And
baby
that's
mama drama.
baby mama drama. There's always baby mama drama on this
Always.
show. If there is a baby mama involved, there is always drama on this
Mm-hmm.
show. Okay, so that's how we leave off. She's getting out of the car, and it's like, okay, Yana's here. So we'll see the interaction between Zaria and Yana this Friday on the season finale. I can't believe it's the season finale
It's
already. It's
crazy. It
like
went by so fast. I'm
it did.
like,
It did. Okay, so now we have True and Shante. And I swear, I love Shante, but there's times that I want to reach to the TV and smack the daylights out of True. Okay. Shante warned him months ago not to fuck with his PO, not to fuck with parole, and he did. And now he's learning the consequences that he may or may not go back to jail and or be put on house arrest. So now he's preparing himself to go back to jail. He's giving
parole, I
Shante
feel like parole is so serious. You have to be dedicated, to not breaking any rules, having any violations. Like, that shit is fucking serious. Like, that is your freedom. So,
right, right. And we're going to talk about a little bit about that pertaining to Daniel when we get to you.
perfect.
Okay, so she's like, just being down in True's hometown is annoying the fuck out of her. It's like negative energy. This is where they broke up. Why did she want to be here? She goes with True, and it turns out he's going to be on house arrest. So now, whose house is he going to be arresting to? His friend Peppa. And Dante must have said,
Where's
who is
Salt?
Peppa?
Where's Salt, though?
Exactly. First of all, where's Salt? Second of all, Shantae must have said, who's Peppa? At least 10 times.
We haven't seen Peppa, though, right?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not
That's
yet.
not that
I think
lady.
that's
Okay.
going to be for Friday. That's going to be
Right.
for Friday. Okay. So they're going to meet up with Kel's true
Right.
sister-in-law. Okay. Who is friends with Pepper. So Kel set Pepper up with True. And
Gotcha.
Shantae's sitting there going, who is Pepper?
I would be acting the same way. I'm like, who is this?
Okay. So Shantae's like, what the fuck is going on? So the way Shantae sees it, having True on the house arrest right now, he might as well go back to jail because they're like 5 hours apart. She's not going to be doing all this driving to go see him and
Mm-mm.
stuff. So, he might as well be back in jail. So she feels like that Kels, enables him. And she is not feeling good about all of this, but she has a limited amount of time to figure out what the fuck she's going to do.
I will say the energy that Kels was giving was really off. It was something weird. I don't really know. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I mean, we won't know until the next episode.
Exactly. But all I have to say is true. I mean, he seems pissing me off.
I totally understand.
Pissing me off
I
every
agree.
episode. I'm like, you need to stop playing my girl Shantae like that.
Yeah.
Stop it. Okay,
you
know that Pepper is more than just a friend. Okay, we know. I know you know. True. Okay, so you better stop your shit.
I mean, we'll see. We don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see on Friday. Okay, Hope and Arthur.
Oh.
First of all, I just want to say, in my opinion, she set him up. She totally set him up. He had no idea what he was walking into.
Absolutely not.
Her sister studied criminal justice. Grandpa's a correctional officer. The other sister knew all the dirt from the whole relationship because Hope vented to her whatever happened between them. So he had no chance from the minute he walked in.
Honestly, I feel really bad for Arthur.
Yeah.
In this specific situation, I feel really fucking bad because it's very obvious that he's struggling with his mental health, and you have camera crews in your face 24 hours a day.
Yes.
Like, not 24, but like 16 out of 24 hours a day.
You guys do long days. I know when you're doing filming, it's long days.
And so I think he was going through some really hard shit, and having cameras in your face does not fucking help. And then you have these two people coming at you asking crazy questions. Like, come on, like they could have been a lot nicer. And for me, I feel like this hits my heart because I've struggled with mental health when I was a minor, like just a lot of different things. And I don't know, it just really hurts. Like, you just saw the past two like episodes, he's going through shit, and then it's like, okay, you're throwing him into this, and it just didn't sit right with me. So
if you were personally dealing with a situation like Arthur's, where your man's mental health is not doing too well and he's really going through it, how long would you give him to like get himself together and get a job and try to get through?
All right, from what I've seen, a job, don't even think about it. If this girl has money, she can support him. Why are you so pressured on like making him work? He just got out of prison. It seems there's a lot more to the story about what he went through in prison that they obviously didn't show.
Right.
And so for me, I'm kind of just like, cut him some slack. I don't know. It just rubs me the complete wrong way. But that's just me and like what I've struggled with.
Right.
So
yeah, I just feel like that Hope totally set him up. She even said so herself that her sisters could be very judgmental.
So why invite them on the show? Why invite them on the show?
Exactly. And that's why she hasn't told them about him up until that point, because, they could be a tad bit judgmental. So why are you letting your man who just suffered a mental health crisis walk into the situation?
Honestly, if I was her, I would have been like to production, he's not going to film anymore. Like, we cannot do this. This is not right. At a certain point, it's like exploitation. So,
and she didn't even speak up for him either. Right. I mean, he had a point. He says he gets into whole fights with his family over Hope, and Hope didn't speak up once. She just sat back and just let the questions come.
I do know they kind of cut things up, though.
Of course, yes, they do. Yes, of course.
But there was definitely opportunity to say something.
Right.
In that moment, so.
So, let's see how this ends.
We'll see.
We'll see. Now, moving on to Julian and Christine. Okay.
I love Christine. I'm sorry.
Julian is giving me, like, I don't know. I just,
Something
he's getting.
funny, I think, is like, what if whoever was doing his job interview watches that episode and it was like, damn, I was being filmed for Love After Lockup. Like, I just think
I,
that's funny.
can you imagine that? I was being filmed for Love After Lockup, and he was interviewing in his shorts. I mean,
Right. Why the shorts? Come on, put on pants or
I
something.
know, like, come on, or sweats at the very
Come
least. Like,
on.
why are you sitting there in those shorts? I mean, come on.
It's giving SpongeBob, you know? Like,
Right, exactly. So he's doing this job interview, because he lost his job, and that's going to be an issue sooner or later.
mm-hmm.
And Christine is upstairs doing flyers for her convict comedy hour. And her flyers kind of reminded me of my niece's drawings.
Mm-hmm.
But I
I
give her
think
an
she
A
did
for
good,
effort.
though.
I give her an A for effort. Okay. So she's really excited about doing this open mic. And
She's not
Julian's
happy.
not so excited because he wants her to pick up extra shifts. What do you think about this argument that they had?
In my own opinion, I feel like he should be happy for her. Like, she's doing something, like, I can understand the argument of, like, I don't want her to get her feelings hurt and people not get her jokes, but that's a part of life. People not understanding you,
And
talking
like she
shit.
said,
Come on. Like,
she just came out of prison. They are mean as fuck in prison. Wait, what did she say? Jail is like junior high school and Freddy Krueger's worst nightmare. So if she could survive that, I think she could survive a couple of hecklers,
100%. 100%.
right? So to me, it just all smells like control. Like Julian just wants to keep her under a sense of control. And honestly, I feel like he's using her addiction issues against her. Like, oh, I'm worried that she could possibly relapse.
No,
Like, dude, I don't
I
think
don't agree with that.
right.
Honestly, she wants to do something fun. She's funny. We can all
Right.
admit it. She's
Something
funny.
healthy, a healthy
Right.
outlet.
And I don't think the whole crowd's gonna be like, boo. Like, there's no way. People
Exactly. Exactly. And when it comes to picking up the extra shifts and whatever, I get that too. But why can't she do both? Why can't she pick up the extra shifts and do one night a week at an
right, because
open mic?
isn't she like a server? I'm pretty sure like
Right.
restaurants aren't open 24 hours. You have time to do what you want.
Exactly. So I mean, and everybody has days off. She could do it on her day off.
Exactly. Why not?
Like it's not,
I
and
feel
like she said, it's not costing them anything. So what's the big deal? So he won't even be supportive enough to tell her whether or not he's gonna go to the
right.
show.
And I feel like that's a hobby. He should be in support of a hobby and doing something besides
Exactly.
drugs. Like
Exactly. I was like, dude, that's fucked up. Like for you to
it
even
was.
tell her dad. I'll think about it. That was fucked up. So we'll see next week. Christine's
see.
comedy hour.
I wish they were in life because I really like them.
Yeah, yeah. I like Christine. I'm really rooting for her.
Yeah.
So moving on, we have Joey and Kim, and it's engagement day.
Mm-hmm.
And Kim is trying to be, excited. It's her engagement party, trying to be excited. But the day before, Joey dropped $2,700 on rims and tires he wasn't supposed to spend.
Yep.
And now this party is costing her $2,000. So she's so Joey gets home and she's like, "Hi, babe. How was your day? Whatever." And she tells him that she was out shopping and she got a Facebook friend request from the ex.
The ex.
And why is she getting, requests from the ex? And he's like, I don't know. Maybe because we've been texting back and forth. When were you planning on telling me this?
Block her.
Well, I'm telling you now. Now, what do you think about that whole argument? He's like, well, I'm telling you now. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
He's like, well, it's no big deal. At least I'm telling you now.
I feel like he definitely should have told her way before. I mean, if that ex has been such a problem, that should have been, an important thing to be like, hey, babe, my ex is texting me. I feel like
exactly. But no, he's holding whole conversations with her. And basically, he gets mad at Kim because Kim is reading the text and she's like, what the fuck? So he snatches the phone that Kim bought him, gets in the car that Kim bought him, and takes off.
With the rims.
Okay? And he's going to meet up with the ex. Because
Do
he
we
wants
really
to
think
have,
she shows up though?
I know, he wants to have closure. Just block her. Okay? It's
Right. Just
called block
her.
contact. Okay?
Yep.
Like,
I feel like you shouldn't have to look through someone's phone to find something out. You know what I mean?
right.
But also, he just got out of prison. You know, I feel like for my situation, I know they haven't shown his release yet, but it's like people are going to start coming back in your life. And once they find out you get out. And so I feel like it's just up to communication between each other.
All right.
Regarding
Yeah.
that.
I mean, that is a natural thing. You've been, I mean, he's been in jail for a long time and now he's out. And of course, people from his past are going to hit him up. But, you know, he has to tell Kim at the moment, not, on the day of their engagement party. Like,
right. Just so convenient.
I know. So convenient. Okay. So now we have Leticia and Keith. And once again, her little one made me cry. This is the second time this season. Second time this season, Kira made me cry. She is adorable, but I was like getting all teary-eyed. Tish had to break the bad news that Keith wasn't coming home anytime soon, not until the end of the year. And Kira started crying. And
she's so cute. I mean,
isn't
I
she?
feel like she's just so upset because it's like she wants her dad home, and it's heartbreaking.
Yes. And she, so she's upset. And then Tish had to break the news that they had to move out of their house because of the issue with the landlord and not paying, the mortgage in the house being foreclosed on. So now her older daughter, who didn't have a reaction about Keith not coming home because, honestly, she couldn't care less because she has a close relationship with her dad. So she's kind of like, whatever. And she's a teenager. And we all know teenage girls are just...
I was so angsty as a teenager. Like, just everything pissed me off. And
Thank you. I was going
to
say, I really hate to say it, but teenage girls are little bitches.
Yeah.
Okay. I hate to say it, but they are.
I probably still am because of my age, you know what I mean? But
I mean, it was a long time since I've been a teenager, but I remember I was a little bitch when I was a teenager too. So little, teenage girls are little bitches. So her daughter only reacted when Leticia said, we're going to move.
Right.
It's so,
that would break my heart though. I feel like if I was her, I'd be so upset.
I know. I know.
So I feel for all of them. I think Leticia's a great mother. I really do.
Yeah, she is. She's a great mom. She's a great mom. It's just messed up of the situation that Ben, the paralegal, put her in. Ben gave them false hopes, And the one thing maybe I would have done if I was her, not say anything until we definitely knew.
Yeah.
But she did, because she was excited. She wanted to share the news with her kids, and
I would be excited too.
Right, and she knew, her younger daughter was looking forward to it. But if there's one thing that maybe I would have held back on a little, it's just until we got that definite date, like we definitely knew he was coming home. Then, but she had Ben the paralegal giving her false
ear,
hope,
telling her all these things, and
yeah, exactly.
It's unfortunate.
So, she's hoping to get a fresh start with Keith and her kids, maybe move to Charlotte or, somewhere by the beach and, just get a fresh, sunny start. So
good for her.
Guess what, Bianca?
Me.
Up to you, girl.
Great.
So, first of all, my first question is, whose idea was it to sign up for this show?
Me.
Okay, why?
Honestly, I don't know. So I was in prison wives Facebook groups, and I wrote my story a million times, told everyone. And they were all like, go on Love After Lockup. Like, we love this. And a lot of those women I'm still friends with today, and they're supporting me and watching the show. But I had never even seen the show. I was
That
like,
was going to be my next question. Did you ever see the
never.
show, hear about the show? Yeah, a lot of you chicks that never
I
heard
should
about
have.
the show had just, happened to run into it in a Facebook group. This season, I have to say though, this season, the recurring theme is the men like Troy, Keith, and True. They all knew about the show because they were watching it in prison. And
Wow.
they told their woman about it. And Zaria, Shante, and Tish had no idea
I
about
didn't
Love
know
After
about it.
Lockup
I really didn't.
until their men told them about it. So
So
that seems to
Daniel
be the
never,
recurring theme.
he never has seen it. He didn't know what to expect going into it. But no, never seen it.
So
I was just like,
so
fuck
so you
it.
were just in a Facebook group and they said apply, drop the link, and
Right. So I like told my entire story in depth, and everyone was like, oh my God, like you went through so much. Like, I feel like this is a great plot for like Love After Lockup. You should try. And then I never watched it. I applied, and then I started watching it after I had accepted.
okay. So the season that you started watching, who was on that season?
It was actually, I've seen the past Love After Lockup, and then I watched Love During the past one.
Okay, so that was with Joy and Red, Key
Right.
Rock and Brittany.
Melissa, Louis, all of them.
Okay, so who was your favorite couple during that season?
And Melissa and Louis.
Everyone says that. Melissa and Louis are loved on this franchise. I love Melissa and Louis and Donna. Okay.
Oh my God, Donna.
Mama Donna.
Donna. The one with her with the wooden spoon. I was cracking up.
That is my girl. I love you, Donna. If you happen to be watching, I miss you. I'm gonna text you if you happen to be watching. So yeah, that they're everyone's favorite.
They're fun.
So how was the filming experience for you?
Well, I had 3 different producers, so
Okay.
I think it varied on all of those. My first experience in Florida wasn't the best. I'm obviously not going to talk shit or say anything.
Right.
Did not have a good experience in Florida at all, and
right.
Whatever. And then in Arizona, we filmed here twice. So once for Love After and then Life.
Right.
It was okay. I just don't think I knew what I was getting into. Because in Florida, it was completely different. It was only like a few days. This, it's way more. And it's exhausting and a lot, dude. Like,
how many weeks did you guys film for this time around?
I think it was like 2 or 3.
Right. And it's long days though, back to back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like 14 to 16 hours. It's a lot. Like, there's so many days I was burnt out and I was like, I just don't want to fucking do this anymore. And then it's like, you watch the show and each scene is like 3 to 4 hours, but you see 5 minutes of it. And so I'm like, damn, like,
of course. Of course. And of course they show the worst 5 minutes of the scene, right, girl?
Of course. Always.
So let's talk about a little bit of your story, how it started off in Florida.
Okay.
This season. I know that you had you didn't necessarily like the way your car accident story was portrayed on the show, and you want to clarify some things regarding that. The floor is yours, girl.
I did not like it. I talked about that for like 20 to 30 minutes, and you see like a minute of it or less. And there's so many people. I'm seeing people saying like, this makes no sense and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm watching it and I'm like, that makes no fucking sense. I've seen people say like, oh, I found an article and like 4 people died. Like, that's why she can't talk about it anymore. And I'm like, that, no. Like, just because you Google search, like,
right, exactly,
someone who had a car crash in the county that I lived in,
It
doesn't
that
fucking mean shit. Like,
doesn't necessarily mean it's
no.
the car crash we're talking
And
about.
it's really upsetting. And I see people being like, okay, well, what happened to the driver? And I'm like, well, I talked about it, just didn't make the final cut. Like that, you know? And so they're assuming that she died or whatever, assuming that we're partying. Not true. And I feel like it just really bothers me
Right.
because it's my trauma, you know? And obviously I chose to go on TV and talk about it, but I thought that would be like the one thing that would, you know, they would tell my story and
Make the
not
cut, right? Like
right.
make the cut.
Right.
So is there any other detail that you would like to add that you feel that they left out and that's why it was confusing?
Yeah. So a lot of people are assuming that we were out partying. We were not. I said that I had drinks, did not see her drink. And I mean that, did not see her drink. You can look at her police records. Like, if you know who the girl is, obviously I'm not going to say her name, but if you somehow figure it out, there's all public record of her admittance in every detail in between. I hadn't seen her in like 10 years. So,
Okay.
like, since the beginning of freshman year of high school, I had not seen this girl.
I was going to ask you, was she like a high school
No.
friend or
She
something?
was like a
Right.
middle school friend. Hadn't seen her in
Okay.
years. Obviously, we're fucking kids. Like,
Right.
and so she hits me up out of the blue that night and is like, hey, I'm struggling really fucking hard. I'm going through a breakup. Do you mind if I pick you up? We go hang out. She knew this like sports bar restaurant type thing. They had like music. It was, you know, she just wanted to hang out. I guess she was going through a hard time. And
Right.
me being a good person, I'm like, yeah, girl, of course. I'm not like thinking, oh, she's on pills and she drank before she picked me up. Like, why would you think about that? You're going to be there for someone you were once friends with. So
Right.
I think it's just really fucking frustrating how people are saying she was out partying with her. And I'm like, never once did I fucking say that. Like, no matter what they cut out, I never said that. So I think it
Right.
really just bothers me. So she's going through a hard time. I was like, yeah, girl, pick me up. Sure. We went out to like a sports bar, had some food. I never fucking saw her drink, which really just pisses me off. Like, and I feel like it bothers me so heavily because it's my trauma.
Right.
You know, it's something I personally went through. So that's why I feel like it bothers me so much. But a lot of people are saying, like, how did you end up at the airport? There was 2 exits when you're driving back to my apartment.
Right.
And you go left, it's the airport, and there's a ramp. And then
Okay.
you go right, and it's the street I live on.
Right.
So people are like, well, how did you even end up at the airport? You're obviously like partying at the airport. No. Like, she was so fucked up. And that's when I realized she was fucked up.
Is when she took the wrong exit when she went
took
towards
a left. I'm like, how
right.
the fuck do you go left? And anyway, so never saw her drink, never saw her take a pill, nothing. But when she got pulled over for the DUI, like after we crashed and the cops came,
Right.
she admitted everything. And you can look that up for the people that really care. If you find it, go find it. But I did not see her drink. She admitted it, and she said, yeah, I was out at bars because I'm going through a really hard time and I got trashed and I couldn't think of anyone else to keep the party going, so I hit up Bianca. We had a really deep conversation. We hung out for like an hour and a half and then she went home.
Like, when she picked you up, you had no clue.
No.
That she was drunk, nothing. She was just normal.
Mm-hmm. Didn't see anything.
That is
she
crazy.
Acted completely normal.
And like, I'm so sorry that happened to you.
It's okay.
And then you were in the hospital and you basically lost your voice for 8 months.
I did lose my voice.
So that's
while.
when that's when you started writing to the prison pen pal site. Like, how did you start writing to the site start?
Honestly, I think I was just going through such a hard time. And I was like, I have no one to talk to. I cannot even speak. Who can I talk to? Right. And so I was like, let me go talk to someone incarcerated. Because also another part of that story is she was in jail. And I had a lawyer, I had an attorney. I couldn't talk to anyone about the case. I tried to ask my lawyer, and I'm like, what is she going to face criminally?
Right.
He wouldn't tell me shit.
Okay.
Like every avenue that I pursued to try to understand what's going on, what's going to happen to this girl. Like, is she going to go to prison? I had no fucking clue. Like, I was distraught.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, if no one's going to tell me, like, no one knows what's going on with this case, I'm going to talk to someone that's been through it. And so I feel like a huge misconception with why I decided to write to Daniel in the first place is because I wanted to heal, which as our relationship progressed, yeah, like he helped me heal a lot. But the reason I sought him out in the first place is because I want to know what the fuck's going to happen to this girl that has a DUI and almost ended my life. Like maybe someone in prison
Right.
could
Could
tell
give
me
you
the
some
process
insight.
and give me some insight. Like, and it turned into a relationship. I mean, there's no way in hell I would go through what I went through and just message someone and be like, hey, you want to date? No fucking way. Like, there's
So
obviously more
when
to
you
it.
first messaged Daniel, what drew you to his profile?
He looked the least crazy.
Okay, that's honest. Okay.
Obviously, he's cute,
Right.
but I mean, based on one picture, you can't really be like, oh my God, he's so hot. Like, I want a relationship with him. You can't base it off that.
Right, exactly. But was there anything in particular that you could remember that you decided, you know something, I'm gonna write him?
I think it's just the fact that he just looked nice. Like he didn't look like everyone else was giving serial killer vibes. And like, let me not message those people. So
She said he wasn't giving off serial
he
killer
really
vibes. So
wasn't.
okay, so then you guys start communicating, and did he give you the insight that you needed?
Honestly, no.
Okay, okay,
And
that's
I'm
fair.
just gonna be honest because I'm honest with everything.
Right.
No, because he never hurt anyone.
Okay, there we
His
go.
DUI really wasn't as serious as hers. So he was
Right.
kind of just like, listen, I can't really tell you anything. And then I was like, all right, we didn't talk for a while. And then I was kind of like, I wonder how he's doing. And so continue talking. I'm there for him. And we just start developing feelings.
And there you go. So what was it about Daniel that had you start develop feelings about him?
He is just so sweet. Like, I'm excited for him to be on the episodes because he just is such like a pure soul. Like he's just the sweetest person that I've ever met. Like
Yeah, I
truly.
mean, we
He
have to meet him already.
I
Like it's
know.
the season finale.
He's just so sweet and understanding, and when you talk to him, you just feel accepted. You know, and like loved, and like everything that every word that you're saying is like appreciated. And so that's initially what made me be like, okay, I like him more than just someone that I'm talking to. So
So, Bianca, let me ask you, what do you say to those that say that you are crazy for letting him know how much money you have?
honestly, if you're in a relationship, if you don't talk about finances with your significant other, if you're planning on living with each other, that's a huge red flag. So, to me, I mean, we talked about finances because we were planning on living together. And let's say I had $2 fucking. He's not gonna move in with me, and if he does, it's gonna be a fucking disaster.
That's true.
So
That's very, very
you
true.
gotta talk about it. You got to. It doesn't matter what kind of fucking relationship it is. If you know you want to be with that person and you're planning on living with each other, it's important to talk
Right.
about.
Exactly. So, like True, Daniel doesn't want to listen to his PO. And he's going to live with you no matter what.
Right.
So, what's your take on this? Because Shante was about to kill True.
So I was a little bit in the dark. I was really, really, really fucking nervous that it's not gonna work out. And he was just like, no, it's gonna work out, trust me. And I kind of was like, okay, you say that, but you don't know until you're out. So I was freaking the fuck out. I wasn't mad at him because regardless of what happened, like I'm gonna have a roof over my head and I'm gonna live. Like,
You're like, you are going to be in the halfway house and I'm going to have this apartment still. So,
right.
I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're not going to get into, other, because we don't want to ruin anything for next season.
Right.
But let's talk about this episode. Cousin Robert, I don't think is Team Bianca. I really don't think,
At the moment, no, he was not Team Bianca.
but you guys now, how's your relationship now?
We're good. We're
There we
friends.
go.
Yeah.
He's Team Bianca now, and
He's
that's all
Team
that
Bianca now.
matters.
Team Bianca and Daniel for sure.
There you go. So, okay, it is the day before Daniel is going to be released,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's excited. His mom, his dad, you, cousin Robert. But you confront Robert and it's like, why did you convince Daniel not to marry me?
So there's a lot more to that as well.
Talk to me, girl, because I knew there was a lot more than that.
So I was not mad that he sent that long email and was like, don't marry someone that you never met in person. Because that's very logical. Like, don't marry someone you never met in person. I was upset.
It is logical. That's why I was wondering, why is she mad about that? Like,
there's no way I could ever be mad about that because that just makes sense. You know what I mean? Obviously, we were being very stupid, thinking that we were going to do that. I think what upset me is that he was coming at me when he had a relationship with someone that lived in another country and he was in the military. So I feel like that just bothered me. You know what I mean? Because it's like, who are you to kind of judge the situation?
Yeah, I can see that now. I can see that. Now I know that there has been some questions with the fans about your family because we've
Yes.
seen Daniel's family, but what does your family think about all this?
So my mom, my stepdad, and my little brother are super supportive. They actually watch the show every Friday when I'm on.
Okay.
They just didn't want to be on the show. My mom has a very high profession.
Right.
She's on the news and things like that. So
okay.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way her job would clear her for anything like this.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And then my brother, he plays professional soccer, so he has a contract. There's no way he could be on the show.
Okay.
And then that leaves my stepdad. He was just kind of like, if no one else is doing it, I don't want to do it, you know? And then my biological father, we do not speak. So
okay.
Obviously he's not going to be on it.
Exactly. So, and you had your bestie on it with you.
Mm-hmm.
And
two of them.
Right, exactly. So there we go. So this episode, his cousin is trying to put you on the spot.
Mm-hmm. And he's the drama, though. He's literally the drama. Like
the whole Daniel relapsing thing. Okay. So, first, let's get into the whether or not you have a drinking problem issue.
Right.
Because the way that they are making it look like on TV and
mm-hmm. So I actually have a lot to say about that.
Talk to me, girl.
And I speak my truth no matter what. And I 100% had a drinking problem, but not when I was filming. So about like 2 to 3 months after my accident, I was drowning myself in fucking bottles. Like I was going through it hard as fuck. Like I had no voice. I had no one to talk to. Even if I wanted to go see a therapist, I cannot speak. And so once I was able to start walking again, I drowned myself in bottles. It was really fucking sad. And so, I mean, that's what the producers knew about the story. And so I feel like that's kind of
why
the storyline is the way that it is. But during filming and all that, no.
How much do you drink?
I drink like once a month.
There you go.
And I just think it's crazy how people are like, he's gonna relapse and blah blah blah, and also how people are saying like she doesn't care about his sobriety and all this, and like I guess it's the way that I'm just kind of like brushing off what his family and everyone's saying, but I feel like it's because I know I'm not gonna fucking drink when he gets out. Like, in front of him, bring it in the house. I'm not fucking doing that. And I knew that.
Bianca's not going to have a full bar
No,
in the
no,
house for him or nothing, right?
no.
You know? So,
I wanted to make sure that he was gonna be okay, especially that first couple weeks. Fuck no. Like, so when they're all coming to me with their concerns, in my heart, I'm like, you guys really think I'm gonna be getting trashed 7 days out of the week and bring alcohol in the house and be drunk as fuck in front of him? No. Like, so I'm kind of just like, okay, whatever, like acting stupid because I'm
right,
right. Like, I'm
right.
not, there's no fucking way I'm gonna jeopardize someone's sobriety like that. Like, that would be so selfish.
Why do you think that they felt like that you had a drinking problem?
I don't know.
Did,
So,
did you drink a lot in front of them? Were like,
his family?
yes.
No, that was the first time I actually met them.
Okay.
So they didn't see me drink. I think I can't really say it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
Production.
Right, exactly. Production.
I don't think they fully thought that. So
So, Robert refusing to call you fiance and just
yeah,
calling you girlfriend. Let's
mm-hmm.
talk about that.
That bothered me. It really did. Um, I don't know why, but it did. And every reaction to anything regarding that was real because I'm like, why does it matter to you so much? Like, you're giving weird energy. Like,
Right, exactly. So let's talk about the morning of the release.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so you get up. What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
I'm about to shit myself. Like, in reality, I was so fucking nervous because you don't know what's gonna happen. Like,
And on top of this, you have cameras in your face.
right, right. It was
Okay.
really nerve wracking. Like,
Now, were you really upset that his family was going to be there?
I think I was kind of like, damn, we're gonna have a really special moment, but I was not truly mad. No.
Okay. I
I
was
think
going to
for a
say,
second
come
I was
on,
kind of
girl.
just like,
I'm like,
damn.
his mom needs to see him too,
Right,
You
right.
know? And so, um, the one final thing I want to ask if you have anything you want to clarify about the story of your loss, which I'm so sorry about your loss.
Yeah, I've seen a few people say that I they thought that I was glad that I had a miscarriage, which I think is really fucked up. I was not glad. I was with a very physically and emotionally abusive partner, and if it wasn't gonna be me, it was gonna be him beating that baby. So, yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
that having a miscarriage is terrible. Honestly, I still hurt from that. I'm still very fucking upset about it. But God's on my side
Right.
100% of the time. And I would have stayed with him because that's just me. I would have stayed with him because of the baby. And I think that's super toxic because he would have been a terrible father. And, if I had a kid, there's no way I would have wrote a prisoner because I would be thinking about my child, number one. There's no way I would move across the state. And obviously, I love him. We have a great relationship. And
Right.
if I had a child, that just wouldn't have happened. So I think people are kind of misconstruing what I was saying,
Right, exactly.
and if I had a child, like, I would have never been able to have this kind of relationship. It's never that, oh, I'm glad that I had a miscarriage because that's fucking terrible. I would love to have
Right.
had my child right now.
Right.
But I know in my mindset back then, I would have stayed with him. And he would have been such a terrible fucking father. And I'm glad that my child didn't have to grow up like that
Right.
and be born into this world to a family like that. So
I'm
that's
very
what I meant.
sorry for your loss, though.
It's
And
okay.
and I think you handled it with strength,
Thank you.
and sometimes I hate to say it, but everything happens for a reason and we're put on a path, You
That's what I
know,
was saying, and people
y-
are kind of not understanding. They
right,
think I'm saying like
exactly.
everything happens for a reason. Like, yay, so glad I had that. Like, no,
No,
it's devastating for
right,
sure, but
exactly. So
makes me emotional,
do you want children with Daniel?
of course. But his son comes first before anything.
How old is his son?
13.
Okay. Okay. So, is there anything else that you want to clear up before I let you go? Anything
I
you
can't think of anything.
okay?
There's probably so much, but I know I'll be
Well,
on
I'm
there
gonna
again.
bring you back next season with Daniel.
Exactly.
I want you and your man next season.
Hmm.
Okay, so if there's anything that we forgot tonight, we could always cover it then. But I wish you all the best for you.
Thank you.
I feel very unprotective over you
No,
because you're so
I'm so
young.
young.
You're
I'm so
young.
young.
You're close to my son's age, honestly, and I just want to hug you and protect you. So I'm gonna say that Daniel better not hurt you, or he's gonna have to deal with me. But I
We'll
want
see in
to
life after.
right exactly. I want to bring you guys back for life after because I just have to see you guys together, the love of your life.
Hmm.
So where do you want to be in 5 years?
5 years. I don't think I want to be living in Arizona anymore. I'd like to at least have one kid, and I'd
Okay.
like to be married.
Well, what state would you move to? Would you go back to Florida?
I would never go back to Florida, only to
Okay.
visit my family. I just have
Right.
so many memories there, good and bad, but there's other places you can make memories and make life.
There you go.
I think I would go to like Tennessee. We've talked about it, but we want to like buy a plot of land or something
Okay. Oh, that'll
and
be
kind of
cool.
have like a little homestead. So
A little farm,
yeah,
garden,
yeah.
yeah. Sounds kind of cool. Kind of cool.
Don't really
So,
like city life. So
right. Cool. So we'll see you. Well, first we'll see him come out
mhm.
finally on Friday, and then
Yep.
we'll see your love story continue next season.
Yep.
So I'll definitely bring you back.
Thank
Um,
you.
thank you so much for joining me tonight.
I had
Thank you,
fun.
everybody, for watching me, and I'll see you on Saturday for the season finale recap.
Yep.
Good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.